Good evening. My name is David Perry, and I live at 9411 Earhart Road. I'm here this evening because I know that, I guess it's Miss Charlene Douglas is here, welcome, to talk about the discussion of citizen survey objectives. I'm here to reiterate things I've said in previous meetings, and that is that I'm one of the vocal minority that is very content with the current master plan that we have, content with the process that the township and the citizens went through to create that plan, content with the idea that that plan should stay in effect until 2017 as was originally planned. So I know there was a discussion today about creating a new survey, but again, I'm here as a vocal minority to say that, in fact, there is a silent majority that has voted with their feet. They've come to this community, or they've decided to stay in this community because of its current character. Obviously, there's growth. Obviously, there are things going to be built. But those things have been planned for a certain area of the township, and parts of the township that are for other uses that have been selected already by the citizens and by the Board of Trustees and the Planning Commission. We'd like to see that stay in effect. So I hope that you will consider that if you are going to proceed with a new survey, please look at some of the questions that were in the previous survey. There's lots of open space here, there's lots of forest, there's lots of farmland. There are many people here who feel that's very important. Sounds a little crazy, but you know what? We're getting our vegetables and things from California right now, fruits and vegetables from Mexico, etc. California's in the throes of a huge drought. We can grow everything they grow right here. There are ways of doing that in the winter as well. And we have valuable farmland here. We should consider keeping it. They're not making more of it. We're paving it across the country. Also, I would like to ask a question. I know I can't get an answer in this forum, but I would like to pose a question to the Planning Commission as well as to the Board of Trustees. I'm looking at the letter from Doug Lewan from Carlisle Wortman. And in it, he states in the letter of, I guess we're calling it a letter of resignation, that it is clear to us that Northfield Township would like to move in a different direction with regard to planning and zoning, and we will step aside to allow the township to do so. So if I read between the lines correctly there was some level of different viewpoints between the Planning Commission, the Board of Trustees, and this company that's been hired to do consulting work for this township for the past 10 years. I'm not sure what those views were. I'm not sure if I would agree with both of them or either of them or whatever, but our community would like to know what those differences were. So in some forum, if that can be addressed, the community would appreciate it. This is a person that we paid our tax dollars for to hire. We'd like to hear what he had to say, openly or not, and what you have to say too as well. All right? So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Sally Lewis, 6015 Sutton Road. I too am part of that minority. I am here to also ask you to seriously consider keeping the master plan. I'm very confused. I don't like this forum at all, where you talk for a few minutes, you don't get any answers back, you get sort of stony faces coming back at you and I've got lots of questions, a whole bunch of questions. I wish that there was some other way, either meeting in people's homes or, you know, some of you individually going to people's homes and explaining some of this, because we really don't understand it. I too don't understand why Carlisle Wortman is leaving, because they had some disagreement. It sounds as if I don't know what, somebody's influencing this commission and the trustees, and I don't know who. I can imagine it must be, they say follow the money. Developers who want high density, of course, are going to be wanting to have you change the master plan, but it seemed to be fine. My concern is, I'm for development, but very responsible development. And it's so disturbing to see somebody looking at their iPad or whatever it is rather than even listening. What was I saying? I'm for responsible growth, not sprawl. I think maybe we shouldn't say, think of our children. Maybe the question is, I'm a lot older than all of you, but maybe what is it? What would your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents want for this township? Would they want high density and not as much green space? And I'm not a very good speaker. I've been leaving it up to David Gordon. He's like a pit bull. He has such tenacity. He keeps coming back, and he has very, very good information. I hope that all of you are listening to what he has to say and the facts and figures that he has, showing that it certainly costs this township a lot more for for development, heavy-duty development, rather than having some green space. When was the last time we saw a lot of monarch butterflies? Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anyone else who would like to speak?
Thank you. Joanne Martella Pearson, 5756 Earhart Road. And I am here to voice mine and my husband's dismay at the resignation of Carlisle Wortman as the two folks before me. Particularly the part that was mentioned that Carlisle Wortman sees that the township wants to move in a different direction and they will step aside. So here we have had, over the past however many years, the opportunity in our small, beautiful township to be advised by the very best planners, the very best. And now, because of the actions of some, we've lost them. Well, shame on the some, because we have lost them. I don't see that there has been any evidence that we, the people of this township, and although my good folks before me feel we're in the minority, we are not in the minority, want the township to move in a different direction. We want development in the Hamlet area where we have the infrastructure, and we want to keep our beautiful rural spaces. That's what Carlisle Wortman is great at. They've been doing a great job at it. And now, because of the actions of some, and as Ms. Lewis said, something that's happening that we're not hearing, we have lost them. And I just think it is, I don't even know the word, I don't even know the word for it, but it is a detriment to our township and all of the people who live here. So I want to encourage all of our township citizens, we need to be on alert again. We definitely need to be on alert, and people can get information at northfieldneighbors.today, because we're going to keep an eye on it, because I don't want to see another huge debacle as we are still in this place that was not this administration's doing, but it was another administration of which the township leader is long gone out of Northfield Township. The former superintendent is long gone out of that big school that we, the citizens, are paying for. So it's very disappointing. Thank you. I do thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you have anyone else?
Jim Nelson, 7777 Sutton Road. Here's something to think about. This meeting, when Cobalt, probably doing their best, is going to explain to you how non-biased the survey will be. Well, the survey may look non-biased from their perspective, but the two boards in this township are definitely biased. And I'll give you a case in point. At the May 26th board meeting, Howard was talking about the request for proposals for a new township planner. And he referred to He referred to worrying about criticism. Wayne Dockett asked him who might be critical. Mr. Fink called the argument over whether to trash the master plan or change the master plan a growth versus no growth debate. Those are his words, growth, no growth debate. Now that's his opinion, but it's also a misrepresentation, and it's drawing a false dichotomy. It's a fake way of looking at the debate. What I'm actually trying to say is that no one, and I mean no one on the board, corrected him. And you were there, Janet. Nobody said a word. They accepted it as no growth versus growth. I think it shows a deep and blinding bias on the part of the board members. So I'm really disappointed that nobody said anything. Anyway, that little fragment of conversation is excerpted. It's on YouTube, on the Northfield News Cam channel, for the whole world to watch. It isn't no growth versus growth. It's smart growth versus stupid growth. If you look at the master plan, and I know you guys all have because you were here for Doug Lewin's presentation back on March 4th, when he showed you about 13 different ways to use an 80-acre parcel. There were 13 different ways, and you could have density out the wazoo if you were willing to do the work. And that's within our current planning. That's stuff that's available right across from the high school where they really need development in the township. The question isn't growth versus no growth. It's where and what type of growth we want. I think, Mr. Dignan, what you really need is growth in the township, in the Whitmore Lake School District, because Ann Arbor, putting it in Ann Arbor doesn't help. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak to us tonight? Okay.